Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love MMA as much as I do. Um, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. I've given a prediction on this fight. I'm changing my prediction. I said Jon Jones was going to win the fight because of his talent. I think he has too many ways to win this fight than Stipe does. But I'm going to go with Stipe Miocic. Here's the thing. They've both fought Cormier multiple times. Stipe's beaten him twice. Jones has beaten him twice. Stipe has never had a drug test issue. Now, here's the thing about that. I'm not saying Jon Jones is a cheater. Because if you call him a cheater, you got to call most of the MMA world cheaters. Or athletes cheaters. Professional athletes. Because a lot of them do steroids. So, I think a lot of them do it and just find ways to get out of the testing or find ways to hide it better. So, if Jon Jones is a cheater, then you got to call most of the MMA fighters cheaters too, because Nate Diaz said himself, they're all on steroids. So, again, I don't know if they're all on steroids, but I imagine a lot of them are. That's just what it is, in my opinion. So, I don't think that should tarnish Jon Jones' legacy at all. I still think he's one of the greatest of all time, hands down. Stipe is also one of the greatest of all time. Here's the thing. I still agree that Jon Jones is more talented than Stipe. And he's got more ways to win this fight. But when he fought Cyril, I noticed he looked a little slow. He looked pretty slow. He looked slower than Stipe did. And Stipe is going to be bigger than him in this fight, in my opinion, Jon Jones did beat Cyril impressively, but clearly Cyril did not look like he wanted to be there. He looked nervous to fight him. I know Stipe is not going to be nervous. If he wasn't nervous when he fought Francis the first time and he overcame all that to beat him like he did, he's not going to be nervous when he fights Jon Jones. Here's the thing. I know Jones is more talented than Francis, but he does not have the knockout power that Francis did in that fight. And he's beaten everybody he's fought except Stephen Struve. But let's be honest, if they fought again, he would have beat him. But that's besides the point. I think Stipe wins just because of his experience at heavyweight. Not just at heavyweight in general, but his championship fights at heavyweight. He beat Cormier when Cormier was at heavyweight. And Jon Jones has said before that I'd rather fight a guy like Cormier at light heavyweight because it's more of my weight class than I would fight at heavyweight with Cormier. Because that gives Cormier a bigger advantage. Again, not that Jones couldn't beat him at heavyweight. Clearly he could. But you know what I mean. It gives him the edge. Jones won't have an edge fighting Stipe at heavyweight. Stipe is going to be 250 pounds probably. He said he's going to be bigger than his last fight. So that's probably about how much he's going to weigh, if not more. I don't see Jon Jones ragdolling Stipe. Stipe's a big guy too, When they have the stand-up fight, I think Stipe is going to do what he did with Cormier when he had the most success. He's going to hold Jon Jones against the cage. They'll be clinching together. I think Stipe is going to get the better of it. I think Stipe is going to hold Jones against the cage and hit him in the body a lot like how he did with Cormier. Hit him with some uppercuts. He's going to keep it simple. He's not going to do spinning back fist or anything like big head kicks. He's going to throw some leg kicks. Might throw a few body kicks to throw Jones off. He might throw a haymaker here or there, but that'll be later in the fight, not early on. He's going to be cautious on the feet. What do I mean by cautious? Not that he ain't looking to knock out Jon Jones, because he probably can. But he's not going to throw anything big if he doesn't have to. He's going to land what works. Uppercuts, body punches, like body blows, leg kicks. He's going to try to clinch him. I think Stipe is strong enough to wrestle with Jon Jones. I don't think he's better as a wrestler, but he's very powerful as well. He's a strong guy. He's a heavyweight, So with that being said, and again, I think the power of a heavyweight and a guy that's not scared to fight him and a guy who's dangerous and has beaten everybody he's fought except for Struve, I think it's going to be too much for Jon Jones to overcome. I think Jones will be frustrated in this fight because he won't be able to beat him up on the feet like he does everybody else. He won't be able to manhandle him with the wrestling. He might get a takedown or two against Stipe because he's a good wrestler, but he won't be able to manhandle him and keep him down. He's going to be frustrated with the stand-up exchanges, and he's going to be frustrated with a guy like Stipe who likes to bring pressure himself also. And he's smart too when he brings the pressure. He'll get in your face and hit you and grind you out. And he won't just target the face. He targets the body a lot. He's very durable. He's tough. So I don't think Stipe is going to knock him out either. I mean, Jones is going to knock him out. If Jon Jones wins this fight, he'll get a decision because of his technique and his ability to evade getting hit a lot. And he'll get the better of the wrestling stages. That's how Jon Jones would win this fight. But I have Stipe winning this fight by TKO. I think it's going to be a very similar fight how he fought with Cormier. He was able to control the pace and the place of the fight. He got the better of the stand-up. He landed more of the heavier strikes of the two. I think you'll see that with Jones. But the difference is Cormier was an experienced heavyweight, so he was able to take those shots. I don't think Jones will be able to take those shots as well just because he's not as experienced as a heavyweight. So I got Stipe finishing this fight mid-late fourth round. I don't think this fight goes to the fifth round if Stipe wins. If it goes the distance, I have Jones winning. But if this fight is a finish, Stipe will get the finish first. I think the experience, the fact that Stipe's fresher, and the fact that Stipe is probably is hungrier for this fight than Jones is, that makes it so much sweeter. Not to say Jones isn't hungry, but not many guys have won the heavyweight title 3 times. Undisputed heavyweight title. The only guy I've ever seen do that is Randy Couture. Stipe's next.